All right, welcome to our next interview in the 2020 Candidate One-on-One interview series. For those that haven't seen any of the interviews yet, my name is Cory King. I am the Executive Director of the Southern Midcoast Maine Chamber, and we are pulling together this series to let you meet the candidates in our region. The series is sponsored by Priority Real Estate Group because they also want to get this information to you. I will say that the Southern Midcoast Maine Chamber does not endorse any candidates. And neither does Priority Real Estate Group. They're supporting this program to support us, and we're doing it because, like I said, we just want you to have the right information when you go to the polls, and you get a sense of who our candidates are. And so today we are here with Toni Bashinsky, and it is the district. Hold on, District 54 for the Maine State House. Toni, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. So Toni, just so we're clear, District 54 is what communities?
Topsham only.
Easy enough, Topsham only, perfect. So yeah, so if you're in Topsham, and there's no one else that claims any part of Topsham. So you are the absolute bam, Topsham candidate, perfect. So what we're gonna do today is just go through kind of 3 questions and take them any direction you want. And the first one's wicked easy. It's your personal biography. So tell me a little bit about you. Lots about
you. Absolutely. So I am a mom. I'm married. I am a lifelong Mainer. I've lived here almost my entire life, born and raised. I went to Lewiston High School, graduated from University of Maine, Augusta. I got a degree in financial services. And then I went into the working world. I spent 10 years working as a pharmacy technician. So I've really rounded off my people skills throughout that tenure in that job, doing some retail stuff and learning quite a bit about the insurance industry and medications and all of that. Got burnt out by that, decided I needed a completely different job. So I started working for a telecommunications company called Connectivity Point, based out of Auburn. I do inside sales for them. The only one in the company who does it. I talk to contractors all day. I read plans and specs. I find new jobs from Maine to South Carolina, where our offices are located. And we are about 200 employees, and we are huge looking for people in the technical world, specifically technicians to install cabling. And we're finding that the industry is very bare. There's no interest. There's nobody that's really qualified for the work or really wants to do it. It's a great company to work for, and we're finding those technical skills, especially in Maine, are not present for kids. So for me, it would be really, really cool to kind of integrate what I do in my day job with some state work by maybe bringing some technical college school things back to our middle school or high school, woodworking, electrical, automotive, all of that stuff that we do with our hands. I would absolutely love to be able to kind of mold my 2 worlds into one and see kind of what little baby I can produce out of it.
That's so great. I mean, it's a really good point. I mean, as the Chamber of Commerce, we were actually going to launch some workforce programming this year to kind of help combat this, because that's one of the things that COVID kind of hid was we needed plumbers and electricians and HVAC and all of these technical skilled people prior to COVID-19, and that need didn't go away. Even with the rising unemployment, you still need people that have those skill sets. And so how do we get the kids connected to the businesses and the schools? And you and I have talked a little bit about this offline, and we can certainly talk about it a little bit more, but the Chamber's really looking at taking an active role and connecting the kids to the businesses and also looking at fighting some of the barriers that employers and employees face. So let me ask, so you're a community-minded person, you're a parent, you live in the area. How the heck did you get involved with politics, and like why are you running right now? What's motivating you to do that?
Well, for a long time I was a sleeping person, like many are, where, whether they do or don't vote, they probably don't watch the news, which was me. I always voted, but I think what happens is when the government comes to your doorstep, you wake up. And that moment happened for me about a year and a half ago, when the state of Maine decided to put through the vaccine mandate bill. And for me, it wasn't a for or against type deal. It was a constitutional issue, a complete encroachment from the government, impeding on my rights as a person to choose what goes into my body, my kids' bodies, all that stuff. So I felt very violated in a way. Like I couldn't believe this was a thing coming to Maine. Like Maine is not California. I was really quite shocked by that. So I ended up joining some local people. We went to Augusta. I testified. I have done news interviews. I've written letters to the editor. I have met many incumbents throughout this process that really kind of paved the way for me to get to this point, which was something for me I had always thought I might do, but it wasn't really something I knew how to do or how to find the resources to get myself from where I was to doing something like this. But doors opened throughout this process, and the people that I met, they, you know, of course they were like, oh, you'd be so great at this. And I was like, well, it sounds really time consuming. I don't know if I can juggle all of this. I mean, it was one of the worst legislative sessions ever last year. And I couldn't even fathom trying to balance that with a regular day job. But now things are a little bit different. I work from home now. So I am able to maybe expand my wings or have that work-life balance a little bit more than I was before. Obviously, schooling is different. We homeschool now. I'm home with the kids. We do all of that. So it really was this call to action for me in February is kind of where things hit a really good crossroads. Was when I went to a Saginaw GOP meeting. I found out that the incumbent had nobody running against her. And I couldn't believe that there was nobody in the area had stepped up to do it. This was 2 or 3 weeks before the deadline when they needed to have somebody in. And I couldn't forget that information. It was told to me, and I went home right away and I told my husband, I have news, and it's probably not good whenever I come home and say that, but I said it anyway. And my husband was like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I think I'm going to run for state rep. And he was like, I don't even know what any of that means, but I support you.
Oh my God, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Right. He's a completely non-political person too. So for him, he's like, oh boy, I don't know what we're getting ourselves into here. But I've really met some awesome people along the way. And I have absolutely no background in politics whatsoever, brand new to it. And I'm learning the ropes as I go and learning about the issues as I go too. Because like I said, I wasn't really super involved in the minutia of it until now, but I've been learning more. I'm a very motivated person. I'm very resourceful. I really do try to listen to people and empathize with their situation. I understand what it's like to be kind of in a minority mindset. So I understand that feeling, and I can empathize with people if they feel like their beliefs maybe are not super supported by a lot of people. But for me, I'm really good at finding solutions. And I don't want to just be a people pleaser or placate people, because it's not about that. But it's about representing Topsham in the best way that I know how. And that's by listening to the constituents and seeing what they want and taking that information and making my absolute best judgment call for what is best for the area up in Augusta.
Yeah, so two points I want to kind of hit on there that I really enjoyed what you said. And one of them was when you called yourself a sleeping person. And it's not that as much as we all have a limited bandwidth to how much we can focus on in a day. And it's not that a lot of people don't care. It's not that a lot of people don't want. It's just they don't know where to fit until something comes to your doorstep and you're like, wow, I don't know why I never made time for it before, when this is something that is so relevant to you know what I care about. It's just how it happens, you know. And so it's great that that happened for you so you could get engaged. The other part is testifying. I've gone up and testified, on behalf of businesses when they couldn't make it up and that sort of thing. And I'll tell you, it's intimidating. When you first go up there, you're worried that you're going to say the wrong thing, you're going to do the wrong thing. And what I advise people to do, and you've learned on your own, is just be yourself. Yes, they are legislators, and yes, they make the rules and the laws and the policies that we run by, but they're just normal people. And so if you just sit down and talk to them and say, hey, here is how this is going to affect me, they're willing to listen. It's not as scary as it appears to be when you first do it, and it's really great to hear that you've gotten some of that experience and you kind of see what the inner workings look like.
Yeah, I mean, I was up there and it wasn't exactly the most beautiful bill that was being put forth in front of the people. So it was a very contentious environment.
Yeah.
And it was really unfortunate to see how it went along party lines, which was really surprising to me and really unfortunate in all honesty. And my experience was that I would like to bring a little more softness to the State House. And when I say that, I mean, what I always thought, I didn't know who my state rep, my state senator were. I thought they were unattainable people. I didn't think that they would actually reply if I ever sent an email or care. They thought they were, to be frank, bobbleheads. I just, you kind of view those people as, close but far. And I didn't learn a lot about it until I had more experience with it. And the one thing that I learned was that I really just want to bring, I'm a very easy person to talk to, and I want to bring a little more of that up there. And I'm really hoping that it can help to bridge some gaps for certain things, because I do think that that's very much needed right now. And it's really important. And I really do feel like I have a pretty good personality to be able to kind of just roll with it while I'm up there, but still get things done, because I like to check things off my list too. And I'm working for the people. I don't want to go up there and be non-productive, just spending my time arguing with everybody. That's completely moot. So I would rather just try to bridge as many gaps as I can to make as much progress as possible.
It's about finding solutions, and you and I talked a little bit before we started filming about this is going to be a heck of a year. I mean, with the budget and all the negotiations, there's going to be definite programs, definite things that have had funding all the time that are just not going to be able to have the same level, because we just don't have that, in the revenue shortfall. And so there's going to be some tough discussions and decisions, and you really need people that are willing to meet somewhere in the middle and kind of compromise that. And that's sounding like, exactly the kind of mindset that you want to bring to it. So
Absolutely.
a couple other, here's a chance, last question. Are there any particular issues or particular things that you're looking forward to, if you win this seat, that you want to bring there? We definitely talked about your passion for finding solutions, which I think is great. But are there any other specific things that you wanted to mention of things that you're passionate about?
One of the really big things is obviously the budget, trying to find creative solutions and ways to either reallocate the funds or come up with different ways to balance it where it doesn't necessarily involve tax increases. We're all aware COVID created quite an issue with income taxes this year, and the government's going to have to be forced to come up with creative solutions. And we might look to other states to see what they're doing, which would be probably a great idea. Instead of just across the board cuts, how creative can we get with this? How out of the box can we think? And in all honesty, I don't feel like people can have a confidence in the legislature when the legislature can't even abide by the simple financial rules that households do.
Yeah.
It's very simple. You don't spend what you don't have. And I operate very conservatively personally, and I hope to take that to Augusta as well. Something else that I'm really passionate about is small business. I have recently started a networking committee with a local realtor. We are working on launching that sometime next month, and we're hoping to get some good small businesses in the area invested in it and invested by time, because networking doesn't work unless you're there.
Right.
But something that I'd found throughout campaigning was that small businesses kind of felt left behind a little bit, especially with COVID. They really weren't sure what they were supposed to be doing. Some of them that felt kind of in between the cracks, and a good handful of them closed, which was very unfortunate. But I'm finding that there's definitely a gap there that needs to be filled, whether it's some sort of Better Business Bureau-ish type deal, a BNI network, anything to help business owners feel like they have some sort of network to talk to. And then bonus, if I end up winning, I can take all of those ideas and we can collaborate and come up with solutions and possibly implement something on a statewide level if we can really come up with something awesome. And then obviously with the small business aspect and bringing the community back into Topsham, something I think would be wicked awesome would be to pair the business community and those small business owners with some students through the Mount Ararat system, and see, if any of those kids would be interested in those types of industries that are participating, and get that firsthand knowledge, even if it's just a month or so, doing 4 or 5 hours a week, shadowing the owner, seeing what the business is about. It doesn't hurt to get that firsthand experience before they go off into the real world. And then potentially integrating technical skills and technical college more into that as well would be really, really cool. And then the last thing for me is it's really, really important for me to have the Constitution upheld. Lately, it's felt a little bit like there's been quite a breach on personal liberties and rights and all of that. And it's really important to me to try to stand up to try to protect that, so that they're not eroded any further for Mainers. And so we can kind of get back on track to the way life should be, which was how it used to be. Hopefully sometime soon.
Oh my God, that's great. Well, and I love that. I love the budget stuff. Obviously, as a chamber, we love this small business stuff. But also, again, that workforce development piece is just going to be so huge. And being the oldest state and needing some younger folks to make careers and follow in some footsteps here is gigantic. One other interesting piece, which I don't think I've shared with you before, is Terry Hayes, who was the state treasurer, had run for, had been a representative for years, had just ran for governor. I was at an event with her, and someone asked her, how many constituents need to reach out to you on a specific topic to have an influence on you? And she said 3. If I hear from 3 people or more, then I know that my constituents feel passionately about that. So I think your idea of building a network with the Topsham businesses and the Topsham citizens is such a crucial way to kind of get that feedback, so that you know exactly what they want. I think that's such a smart idea. Really great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I could talk to you for hours. I don't think they would watch us for hours, so I think we need to get close to wrapping up. But Toni, if people want to find out more about you and what you stand for, what is the best way for them to do that?
I'm on Facebook. You can find me by either typing in my name, Toni Bashinsky, or typing in Toni for Maine. That's TONI, the number 4, Maine, MAINE. And I also have an email address. It is Toni, TONI, the number 4, Maine, MAINE, @gmail.com. You can email me, message me anytime. You might see my ads on Facebook, my my fancy sign twirling skills and stuff like that. Just trying to, be different, get attention in different ways, and really just honestly putting myself out there, which is kind of comical, but
hey,
I've got nothing to lose. So
no, it's great. It's great. So Toni for Maine, TONI for Maine, as in the state with the E on the end, or toniformaine@gmail.com. Well, Toni, thank you again so much. Looking forward to having a forum with you and the other candidates later in October. And Yeah, I guess that's it. I do want to say to anyone that's watching this, if you do love what you've heard and what you've seen, you now know how to get in touch with Toni. But also feel free to share this video, with all your friends, so that they can find out a little bit about Toni as well. Toni, thank you for joining us, and
Thank you. Thank you
and
very much.
and thank you to Priority Real Estate Group for sponsoring the entire series. We do appreciate that as well. We'll see you all down the road.
Thank you.